robot, what's the point, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So
Whatever.
you look like Eminem on 8 Mile right now.
You really do. I like it. I'm digging it.
You're losing yourself in the moment. You know?
Yeah. Today was actually a warm day. It was like 48 degrees, which is like summer right now for us.
You must have been sweating out there.
It was good, but now it's a little chilly. I don't know. I think just with the ALS, it just makes you cold too, you know?
Where do you live at? Where do you
Massachusetts.
live at? Massachusetts. Okay.
Yeah. Western Mass, so.
Very nice. Well, Eric, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. You're Mike's first cousin or second cousin?
I was first cousin. Yeah.
Man, I clearly you got the better looks of the family because he's not winning right now.
Yeah, he's beating me a little bit. I'm upset about it, but I don't want to talk about it.
Well, Mike told me your story, and he said you've been diagnosed with ALS.
Yeah.
I've been researching what that is the last couple of days. Can you go ahead and talk about what that is? How did you, how did you come to get diagnosed? I mean, what were the symptoms that you were seeing before?
Yeah, sure. ALS is it's a motor neuron disease. What it does is it causes your brain to not really send the signals to your muscles. So you start to lose function slowly. Some people they can start in their face. Sometimes they have limb onset, happens in their arms, their legs. So with me, my symptoms kind of started in September. I was at my girlfriend's parents' house, and they like to feed the squirrels, like peanuts and bread and stuff like that. And I had just gotten a puppy the month before. So he was in the backyard, and he was running over and trying to eat all the bread. So I kind of ran after him, and I twisted my ankle on it, like a root from the tree. I was like, that sucks. Probably hurt for like an hour, and then I forgot about it, went on with my day. Well, probably like a week later, I'm going to the gym, and I'm like, my leg, I can't really move around, and I'm like carrying around dumbbells and stuff. I'm like, my right leg, this just feels weird. So I try and do calf raises, and I noticed my right calf, I'm just like, I can't push my whole weight up on that one calf. I can do it with both, but not with the right calf. So I'm like, all right, maybe I tore my calf the other week. So I went to the doctors. They said, probably could be a calf tear. So basically I got, it was called a veins extremity test because they wanted to see if I had a blood clot or something. That checked out fine. So went to physical therapy. Then they told me, this could be your back. So throughout the course of this, I've had lower lumbar x-rays, MRIs, middle spine x-rays, and cervical spine x-rays and MRIs, which showed, slipped discs on my lower, my like L5, S1, I believe it is, and my neck too. But at the same time, I'm starting to lose my foot, and now my left calf is starting to get weak. And I'm like, man, with a pinched nerve, that doesn't sound right.
Now, when you say you're starting to lose, what does that mean?
Lose mobility. I can't flex it. I like my toes. I'm like starting to not be able to wiggle my toes. I'm kind of like losing control of function slowly. So first it started with the right calf, and I'm like, all right, it could be a pinched nerve. Then I went to the left calf, the foot, and I mean, now I can barely walk. Like I could take maybe a step or two holding on to something. But I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've fallen, just bam, those legs just give out. Which it was kind of stupid of me because my mother had ALS as well. And she had just passed in 2019 of December. So here I was like 1 year later, finally got an EMG, and they're like, yeah, you should probably go get tested. So literally a year later, the same month, I'm going and getting, my genetic testing, because unfortunately for us and my side of the family, it's hereditary. It's a mutation in the SOD1 gene.
Okay.
So it's called familial ALS.
So ALS is not, does it start out? I mean, is it a hereditary disease, or can anyone get this?
So like 90% roughly of people Joe Schmo's just walking down the road and something happens, someone, a lawyer's, writing something with a pen and he starts dropping the pen, his finger's not working, or, someone's starting to slur their speech and, their friends are saying, hey, are you drunk?
Right.
No, I'm just, what I mean? So 90% of that can just happen out of nowhere. You don't really know why. There's a lot of speculation as to what could cause it. But I mean, from depending on who you're talking to, but the familiar ALS that I have is roughly, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd say 8 to 10% of all ALS cases.
Okay.
It's a gene that's been handed down through generations. How it started, how it originally got mutated, who knows? That's out of my wheelhouse. But yeah, so unfortunately, that's what I got. And also, guys, I'm sorry, I struggle with breathing too because my diaphragm is being attacked as well too. So my lungs are sitting up; they're around 60% capacity. Laying down, they're at like 33. I can't breathe on my back without a BiPAP. Oh, so that's a thing too. It basically hits every muscle in your body, ultimately suffocating you, unless you have other. You could obviously there's other complications to it, but.
And with everything going on, you originally thought it was something to do with working out, right? Because you're an avid workout person. You lift weights.
Oh yeah, and my biggest thing is, I was lifted until I couldn't lift. I was barely walking, like hobbling in there, trying to throw up, 100-pound dumbbells and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I can't move. This is crazy, because I didn't want to give it up, but at this point. I can't do anything.
And so it doesn't, it's so strange because you being active, and I know there's athletes that have been diagnosed with ALS too.
Yep.
As I was reading this week, it's so bizarre that you were active. I imagine you were eating good too. Like what's the research looking like? How does diet impact? Is that a thing or not?
See, it's crazy. Right now, I'm basically kind of being told, eat very high calorie, very high fat. Keep your BMI as high as you can, which would be good if I was lifting, but not sitting on a couch. But other than looks aside, the higher BMI, you tend to do a little bit better, meaning at some point you just get so kind of lethargic. And I don't know if it increases your metabolism. I imagine so. But you start to lose weight pretty quick. And that's where, I have to make a decision. My next thing, do I want to get a feeding tube? You know what I mean? Because you're going to need a feeding tube at some point to get those extra calories in, especially if, my jaw muscles, my throat muscles, all that stuff, once they stop. But just to get that extra energy, especially if you can't chew and it just becomes like a struggle and a fight to chew, you need to get that and your medicine and all that type of stuff. So diet right now for me, there's some people who go more like kind of keto. There's a lot of people who want to stay super, super healthy. My disease seems pretty quick. And, I'm scared to lose weight. So I'm just eating the calories. I try and stay healthy, but I'm not going to not eat a Whopper if someone throws one in my face for sure.
Right.
I think that's for anybody, including us. We were looking up some things over the last few days, and some of the recommendations were like higher antioxidant foods, like fruits, veggies, high fiber grains, lean meat. I didn't find a lot of stuff on fat, so just I guess there's probably a bunch of research being done and experimental stuff. This is kind of like an unknown cure, right?
It's a crazy disease. There is no cure. There are minimal treatments. There's a lot of trials. Some of them are promising, some of them aren't. But yeah, as far as this disease, it's a death sentence. It's a death sentence when you get diagnosed. You gotta prepare, especially if you're progressing fast. There's juvenile ALS, where people get it at 13, 14, 15, 16, and they're still kicking it right now in their 30s. That's obviously like Stephen Hawking is an exception where he lived, seems like forever. But most of the time, if someone says, hey, you got ALS, you better plan on dying in a couple of years unless you want to go. I mean, there's options. You could go get a trach, go on a ventilator and stuff like that. But it's pretty hopeless, and you feel helpless, and everyone around you feels helpless. But until someone can do something and get some drugs in and really allow ALS patients to really, really experiment and try new things, because really safety isn't really an option to most of us. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. What are the side effects? Death.
Have you, I forget the name of that couple. It's at Axe to Fight or some, Axe ALS. Have you heard of that couple?
Yeah. Yep. Actually, it was actually Michael that actually kind of brought them to my attention.
Yeah. Okay. So is that the first that you've heard of that?
Of them. Yeah, for sure.
So they're experimenting with this drug called Neuron or Neuron. Have you heard of that?
It's called Neuron. Yes.
Okay.
Neuron.
So it's I know that couple, and I'd be interested to reach out to them and learn about it to see where they're at with it. But
I can tell you right now, Neuron just recently, as of a day or two ago, just got shut down by the FDA. They said, guess what? We're not gonna let you guys do this, because overall they didn't get the objective that they really wanted. It helped a lot of people. I'm pretty sure. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm just a dumbass with a disease. I'm not that smart with this stuff. But to my understanding, that most of the trial had people at like end stages of ALS, very progressed. I mean, they're not doing so well. The ones that got that treatment that were in the beginning stages, I think it was like 35% of them like slowed down or even stopped it.
Yeah. And
they're saying that, well, because the majority of the people, it didn't help them, we're just going to throw this out. And, for a disease that has no cure or no treatment, I mean, I think that's unacceptable.
Wow. That's crazy, given the fact of how fast they approved the COVID vaccines within, almost 12 months. But
absolutely. I mean, this is a drug that I believe has been in the works for 10, 11 years and showing promising, even if it saves 10 people, at least you're starting somewhere, you're doing something. I don't know the exact number, but I mean, that's the closest thing we got right now. And these people just shut it down because it wasn't good enough for them,
And there's no hope right now. We have some of the drugs I was looking up just give you like 9% chance or increase on your life after a year.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of pissed off ALS patients and families and coworkers and friends, and just that community, the whole community was devastated with that decision at this point.
Wow.
So
what are the doctors prescribing you right now? What's the treatment like? Because you said you were taking medication. So what's that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking a bunch of supplements. I'm taking, there's a pill called Riluzole, which I actually haven't gotten, but I'm going to be getting on that. There is a drug. It's a combination of two drugs. It's called SPV, sodium. I don't know how to say it, sodium phenyl. You could look it up. SPV and Tudka. I'm having a brain fart right now, but that's one that seems to help some people. So I'm trying that out. I'm just in the beginning of starting that right now anyway. So I think it's too early to tell for me, but and basically just there's something called the Deanna protocol, and it's just a bunch of supplements that seem to help people. As far as concrete evidence that it helps, 50% are going to say absolutely, 50% are going to say nah. So, and it's all case-based too. It's so weird. Some people with ALS, I mean, they get it and they deteriorate like that. And other people, it's like certain things work for them. They go good for a while and then deteriorate. I mean, it's a weird disease. And I hope I'm doing all this justice. And like I said, I'm actually new to this because like I said, I was just diagnosed in, I think February 5th. So Yeah, go ahead.
So let's talk about that. Like you work out, you worked out like probably every day. You cleaned up your diet. I mean, you're eating real clean. You're a drummer, you're a singer.
Yeah.
I know you worked in, I think it was like kind of like pest control, right?
No, I worked for the public schools in my town. I was like a janitor. I worked for another like apartment complex. I was doing maintenance.
Okay.
And you know, pretty physically demanding work. And you know, basically, I mean, I was as active got. I mean, I was a gym rat. You know, I mean, meathead to the fullest. You know, you know, anything. There'll be something over there, and I'll just pick it up anyway, just to pick it up. No reason. People are looking at me like, "What's this guy doing?"
So but, how has it affected everything? Like it started what month and how much time has gone by, and what can you do and what can you not do at this point?
So it started in September with that calf, and here I am now. My diaphragm severely affected. I mean, I can get out of this chair. It's a lift chair, which actually, shout out to my school. They all kind of pitched in and got me this in my little scooter. But this thing will lift me up almost to my feet. And as of right now, I can take a step to get off of it onto my scooter if I got to go. Or they have these things called a slide board. Shout out to Heather who got me that. And basically you put it under your ass and you put it on the seat of your scooter or wheelchair, and you kind of slide, have someone help you. And that's, as of right now, that's where I'm at. Once I lose function of these legs, I'm almost there. I mean, I don't know how much longer I have to even support any weight. I mean, the only reason why I can is because I lock up my knees. I mean, it's like, there's like daggers stabbing in my knees every time because, you know, my quads barely work. My hamstrings, if I'm laying on my belly, motionless. I can maybe move my hips a little bit on my lower half. Laying on my back, I can kind of move it, but I mean, now my knees are starting to lock, like just snap out of that lock position because they're just so messed up from me just constantly. So, I mean, I'm pretty immobile. I would say I am 95% immobile with the exception of maybe taking a step here or there to try and do something, to get up or something. You know, if my girlfriend isn't around me at the time and I really want to just get up because I'm sitting in a chair for hours, you know, I take that risk. I don't know how many times I ended up crawling to my phone, you know, Lena, help.
Man,
but
what does it feel like? Does it feel like, because I'm imagining it feels like when someone sleeps on their arm and they can't move their arm, is it numb or does it hurt? What is,
you know, for me, not really. I mean, I do have like a little bit of like pins and needles in my feet sometime. I think that's because they're always just frozen. I don't know if that's technically ALS or because I don't get blood circulating to my feet because I can't move them. I can't wiggle my toes. But the ALS for me doesn't hurt at all. But the fact that I've got my sciatic nerves all pinched and all these like slipped discs, that hurts. And with my legs not being able to really move or me being able to adjust myself into a comfortable position, I mean, like I'll wake up in the morning and my back's just screaming at me because at night I'm trying to like adjust into a comfortable position. I just can't. You know how your body, you'll wake up like on your back and then you'll wake up on your side. I mean, that's how I used to be. There's like none of that right now. I mean, if I want to move my leg, I got to physically try and scoop my leg up and move it. My hands, I don't know, you probably saw with this, I opened it up with my mouth. So I got grip enough to grab something. But you asked me to take this cap off when it's sealed. I can't do it. My thumbs, I don't know if you can see this, but there's supposed to be a muscle right there. That's supposed to have a muscle. You probably can't see where that indent is.
It's like sunken in a little bit.
It's just atrophied away. It's just, and you know, it's just so like those little fine, even like that, just the little fine movements I'm starting to lose. This hand, this is like my stunt double hand because when I fall, this is my bad hand. This is the hand that takes the brunt. It'll take it every time. I feel like this thumb is like fractured. This wrist is messed up. Anytime I fall, I'm putting this hand down. I'll break this hand off before I lose my right hand. That's somewhat, you know, that's somewhat functional. This hand's a lot better than this one. So I'm sure I'm not helping my cause, but I also don't want to land flat on my face either. Let's be honest. So
does ALS?
I need this.
Very pretty, a lot prettier than Mike's.
Again, very pretty, Eric. We hear you.
It.
Does ALS impact cognitive? I mean, from a cognitive perspective, you're snappy, you're there. So
a lot of people are, if you get to that point where you're 100% paralyzed, you are still 100% cognitively there. You can feel pain. Your nerves, you're not sending any signals to your motor neurons, but it's not like, you're a paraplegic and something hits you and you don't feel it. I mean, you feel everything. You're cognitively sharp. The only exception to that, unfortunately, is I'm not sure with all ALS, but I know SOD1, it can hit your frontal lobe and cause dementia. So that's something that I need to work into my will ASAP, where if I'm unable to speak for myself and I got dementia, I don't know what I am, who I am, where I am, who anyone else is. And if I get to that point where I'm using a Toby or an eye gaze system and I can't speak for myself, I want that in my will. That's it, for sure. If I even get to that point, because that's another decision. Do I want equipment? Do I want to prolong life, or do I just want to say, hey, let's let nature kind of take its course? Where's that fine line? And right now I got my arms, so it's really hard to think about where I want to be during that. Also, if I get to the point where I'm completely paralyzed and I'm on a trach, that's a lot to put on my friends, my family, sitting there making sure my lungs are breathing, this thing's breathing for me. It's not messing up, making sure, I'm actually all right, not in a lot of pain for whatever reason, making sure I don't have a lung infection, pneumonia, any of that stuff, bronchitis, anything getting infected with this machinery basically breathing for you. And some people, they're fine with that. Other people, that's scary. To me, it's one of those things where it's like, I just don't know if that's fair to everyone around me to literally have to do everything from cleaning, bathing, changing, dressing, driving me around, getting me out of a chair, putting me in a wheelchair, getting me out of that wheelchair, this, that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough decision and I'm going to have to make it very, very soon. But, right now, I mean, my spirits are up. I mean, what can you do? I'm not going to sit here and ask people to feel bad for me. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm the fifth person, fourth generation in my family of this. My mother had ALS. Michael, his two uncles had ALS, and Michael's grandmother had ALS. And great grandmother.
And it's
no, your two great uncles and your great. Wow, I'm losing it.
It's a rare form too. I looked at a lot of the statistics, and familial is between 5 and 10% of the cases among the 10 for sporadic ALS, and then it normally hits between 40 and 70, but below 45 is the 10% makeup of all ALS people who have ALS. So among that, we have a rarer form too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't tell you the specific. So that gene has several mutations to that gene, and one that I have is pretty rare even out of those. It's not a rapidly fast progressive one, but it seems like it is with our family, as you know how quick it took everyone out. So it's weird. I mean, hopefully I'm an exception. Hopefully these drugs work. Hopefully the FDA does something and, things will work out for people. But if not, who knows? I'm on borrowed time, so I want a good summer. I want the sun out and I want to spend time outside. I got my dog to go running with, to go hiking with, to go play fetch with. Well, a month after that, after I adopted him, that's when my leg went. So if I get a good, I mean, I would like many good summers, but let's be honest. If I get a good summer and can get fresh air, be outside and enjoy life as long as I can, hang out with people. I know with COVID, it's been tough. Everyone's been isolated and stuff, including myself. You know, my mother died and then we went right into COVID, lockdown, everything. So, you know, it'll be good. Good summer. I want to get outside. I want to hang out with people, just enjoy life. And then, you know, we'll take it from there. I'm not trying to plan too far in the future. I really not, because who knows? I mean, but that was kind of my motto anyway in life, regardless of whether I had this. Like, I'm just kind of looking into what's going on right now anyway. So
your spirits are very high, Eric. How do you keep your spirits so high when you're fighting this on a daily basis?
You know, I mean, it hits me every once in a while. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like excited that I have ALS for sure, but I'm not going to just sit in this chair, like crying about like, why me, poor me, poor me. And, you know, I don't want anyone to feel that. Like, you know, there's kids at, you know, like the children's hospitals and stuff. And, you know, they got cancers and leukemias at like 6, 7, 8 years old and stuff like that. I mean, they didn't have a life, you know. At least I got to live a life and I have a little bit longer, hopefully. And it's what it is. So, I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my father, my sister, all my friends, I mean, you know, with just the passing of my mom just happening and then me literally the next year, the same month, you know, getting my genetic testing to find out if I had ALS, it's tough on them. So I feel bad for them, but like, it is what it is. Like, there's nothing I can do to change it myself. If there's a drug, a therapy, something comes out that helps or gets approved that helps, or there's a little bit more funding or money into this crazy underfunded disease as it is, you know, I mean, I think the potential's there. There's a lot of great doctors, my doctor being one of them, who they've really, really put in the work, years and years of work. And I mean, they're onto it, but I mean, it's a massive amount of money, especially right now with all the like the stem cells and, you know, stem cells and injecting it into the spinal column. I mean, it's a lot, but I mean, something's got to be done because this disease isn't going away. 150 years we've had 2 FDA approved treatments that could slow it down a month or two, you know, after 150 years. And COVID, we just got vaccines out that quick. You guys know, you mentioned it earlier. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's a death sentence. And they're, you know, you want to worry about safety or efficacy. It's like, I don't know. I think it's a little inhumane. Also, a lot of these trials have placebos too. So you're on that thing, you know, you're withering away and they're giving you a pill or a shot of nothing.
Right.
And you're sitting there for however many months. A lot of them have open label, so you can get on that medication after. Let me tell you something. 8 months is a very long time for an ALS patient. I'll tell you that much. That's a matter of everything, you know, or whatever. There's longer ones, there's shorter ones, but yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
What's the research up there like in Massachusetts? Is there a center for ALS, or is there something in the U.S. where a place you can go to and
yeah, they have centers everywhere, but I'm very, very lucky to be in Massachusetts. I mean, we have great hospitals all throughout Massachusetts. So there's a lot of centers. There's a lot of doctors really, really working on stuff. So it's good. If you have the unfortunate, you know, diagnosis of ALS and you are in Massachusetts, at least you're in better hands than other states. I can tell you that. Nice. You know, so
Eric, how can we help and spread the message? What can we do from Texas, or how can we spread the message, or what do you need help with?
And that kind of just goes into cost and living, all that stuff. Like what are you going to be seeing here in the next, you know, several weeks?
Well, I'm battling. I've worked for the school department, putting into a city retirement, even though I've worked basically my whole life paying into Social Security. Now these past 10 years, I've been working at the school department, which doesn't put into Social Security, which now I'm short of credits to even get compensated on disability. So I've literally started my life riding around on my bike on a paper route, riding my bike down the road before I owned a car to go work at a little golfing range, worked all these jobs my whole life. Now I get, I work for the school department, go through there, work 8.5 years. Now I have this disease that's about to kill me. And but you can't be monetarily compensated because, you didn't throw into Social Security. So it's going to be tough. I got a mortgage to pay, and, I got a great support system around me. All my friends, my family, my girlfriend's parents have been absolutely amazing. So it's tough. It's tough, but we're going to try and get through it.
Is there a GoFundMe or anything that y'all are thinking about starting up?
Yeah. I was kind of waiting to do this interview. My sister friend, Sam, she's got a GoFundMe. My biggest thing is it's tough for me to explain this whole story and all this, especially since not a lot of people know about ALS, to every single person when they find out. It's exhausting with my, I got, I'm taking, I got fake, artificial non-invasive ventilator basically for when luckily I'm sitting straight up. So my lungs are all right. But so I got that GoFundMe. I would just ask if anybody, hopefully this could get linked to that GoFundMe just so people can actually hear my story. So I don't have to tell every single person constantly. Cause I'm just trying to conserve whatever energy I can. Cause it's tough. Just moving is tough at this point. So, but yeah, no, they're going to do a GoFundMe for me. And, that's awesome. That's going to help a lot. Cause there's a lot. I'm just getting used to being handicapped. Cause honestly, what I can do today in a week, I'm not going to be able to do. And then a week later, I'm not going to be able to do, it doesn't tell me what's going to start getting weak. I was walking up the stairs, a month and a half ago. Then my girlfriend, I was sitting on the steps, my feet, she was putting my feet up. I was going up on my butt, putting my feet up, going up my butt, crawling to a chair. And her father came over every single night and helped lift me up into a chair just so that I could get enough support to get up to get to my bed. Now I can't even go up there. So there's going to be a lot of handicap things. I don't even know what to expect yet because I'm just learning how to deal with this. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of stuff coming down the road for me. That's for sure. I know it. Man, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to have to get.
When I think about your story, Eric, when you were talking, you were diagnosed and within a year, it's impacted you dramatically. It sounds like you said from 1 week, from what you're doing this week to what you can do next week, you won't be able to do the same things. And that's crazy, man. It's hard to wrap my brain around that.
Yeah.
It's stuff that we take advantage of, every day, moving and moving our legs and picking up something and being able to click a pen or open a bottle. Yeah. Hearing that, man, is very scary. And I hope this touches people in a way to motivate them to get this, get the news of ALS out there and hopefully make a difference.
It's funny too, because I never really knew much about ALS. I knew that my uncles had it or my great uncles had it, and really only kind of got up to speed when my mom got it. And it's so funny now that I'm being diagnosed, I've got people, coming out saying, oh, my uncle had this, or my aunt, or my mother, or my brother. And like, it's just so funny for a disease that like not a lot of people know about. I'm finding people all over who know people who have it and stuff like that, so it's kind of crazy. Lou Gehrig's disease is, look at Lou Gehrig. Since he had that, there's still nothing that's saving people. You know what I mean?
Is ALS I think the Lou Gehrig, is that there was that fad or the ice water bucket challenge. Is that the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
And
did that raise a lot of money?
It did.
I think like Stephen Hawking donated a lot of money. I think there's money in there. It's just that they're, science takes a long time, and just like that drug, it is 11 years in, and I guess they're stopping that. That showed the most improvement too, like in that video that we're looking at. I never saw any reversal. It was either just like kind of slowing it down, but showed a guy, I don't know how real it is. It showed the guy getting up, he started walking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys something. If you want to really see, ALS, watch Gleason. It's called Gleason.
What is that on?
I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It might have, but just Google that. I don't even want to say much. Just watch that. It's basically, it's a pretty sad story, but it's, if you want to know what it's like or what is going to possibly happen to me or anyone else who might possibly get this disease and kind of what's going on with the disease, I'm telling you, it's a good watch. It's a good watch. So,
and well, Eric, what are some goals for this summer? You said you want one good summer. So what are some things that you're looking forward to doing?
Yeah, dude, I want to take my scooter or hopefully wheelchair or whatever. I want to grab my dog and I want to go. I want to be out on trails. I want to be out in the woods. You know what I mean? I don't want to be cooped up in a house. I've worked my whole life, always in buildings and stuff like that. I mean, with the exception of some landscaping, but man, I want to get outside. I want some fresh air, some sun, you know?
Man, I see that deer wreck behind you. Are you a hunter?
That's actually my grandfather's. When he passed, all the grandkids got the horns. So
okay. Have you hunted before?
Have I? No. But I think it's awesome that, you know, my grandmother gave us all the racks. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. So
pretty sentimental.
What is there anywhere you want to go this summer? Is there a state you want to visit or anything like that, or a particular place? You said trails, or what kind of trails do you have in mind?
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're going to have to be some sort of handicapped, accessible trails. And, you know, I got to look all that stuff up. But right now, I mean, I have been just concentrating on just trying to get my life in order, my will in order, my financials in order, my home in order, you know, all that stuff. Then I'm going to start looking into that. And hopefully by that time, I'll be good. And yeah, I mean, I would love to go to like Ireland or something like that, Scotland. I want to go to Loch Ness. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Just get out there. You know, I really just want to get outside and just enjoy the time with my girlfriend, my family, you know, the dog, and just, you know, just not be cooped up, because, you know, one thing, especially losing your ability to move,
right.
I want to keep that, and I want to just stay moving, you know, whether or not it's assisted with 2 or 4 wheels, doesn't matter. I want to get outside and just move.
That's awesome, man.
You know?
And I know you have a pretty good support system over there in Massachusetts. You have your sister, your dad. They've been how have they been with you? How's the family been affected so far?
Good. I mean, I you know, my mom obviously having this disease and, you know, having passed, you know, from it, and then having to deal with all that, and then now me being diagnosed. I mean, it's heavy. It's heavy on all of them. You know, they're pretty tough in front of me. So, you know, they stay strong for me, and I'm sure it's affecting them. I don't know how it couldn't, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, they're just there for me, and they do whatever they can for me, and that's really all you can do. You know, I know I got a good support system, friends, families, coworkers, you know, the whole 9 yards. So I mean, I'm more fortunate than probably a lot of people.
Right.
So can't complain, I guess, in that aspect.
That's good.
So we're going to make every effort to try to raise money. We're going to do the GoFundMe. I know we're going to do some, try to sell some plates out here in Texas for you. We don't want finances to be any kind of worry for you. I know Jamie, your sister, is going to be doing some fundraising too. We're going to share this as much as we can and try to get as much for you, because the medicine's going to be expensive. Everything you mentioned in the podcast is going to be I thank Jon for, if you didn't notice, he did most of the talking. This is kind of tough for me. So I knew
I hear you. I hear you.
He could talk it out better than I could, probably in a normal situation too, but we won't mention that.
No, I mean, I'm glad, I'm glad you guys asked it. I'm glad I did this.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get it out there and, tell my story, but also, just bring it to light. I mean, ALS is a real thing. It's this disease paralyzes you completely. And sometimes quickly, most of the time quickly, sometimes slowly, but it's not fun. It's not fun, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, for sure.
Well, like Mike mentioned, man, we're going to do everything we can to help you and your family. Mike is my family, and that makes you my family. So we're going to do our part.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I appreciate you coming on, my friend, and we'll be in touch, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
All right,
man.
See you guys.
Bye.
Love you too, man. Bye.